The X1C officially retires, Flashforge launches a new Toolchanger, and Prusa pokes fun at all of us. Plus, let's go touch some grass in Colorado. Hi, I'm STL Denise, and this is all the news that's fit to 3D print. But first, Project Hail Mary gifted another model to the 3D printing community. This time it's our own little Rocky. He comes as both an articulated action figure and as a stationary model. These are both set up for resin printing, and the articulated model has some really tricky pegs to print. I ended up having to reprint one and glue it back on. Those of us with FDM printers may have to get a little bit creative. We reported in March that Bambu Lab's X1C was disappearing from shopping sites all over the planet, and now it's official. On March 31st, the company officially retired the printer that started it all, the Bambu Lab X1. If you own an X1, an X1 Carbon, or an X1E, you don't have to say goodbye to your machine just yet. Bambu will continue to support these machines until 2030, with spare parts, support, and security patches. But software and firmware will get its final update next year in 2027. Bambu Lab has not yet announced a replacement for the X1C, so we're all waiting to see what that one is. Speaking of new printer launches, Flashforge has launched a Kickstarter for a new Toolchanger, the Creator 5. It appears to be an open frame machine with 4 tool heads and side-mounted spools. Unlike other tool changers, the heads will park on the right side of the machine, which might make maintenance a little bit easier since nothing is hiding around back. I have not yet received a machine to review, so you're going to be on your own to decide if this Kickstarter is worth backing right now. Flashforge, if you're listening in, drop me a DM. Tool changers are definitely the wave of the future, and they're my favorite style of printer when it comes to waste-free printing. Since each spool gets a dedicated nozzle, there's no need to clean or purge materials between color swaps. This also makes tool changers significantly faster because they don't have to waste time loading and unloading every color. We're generally talking about hours of time saved. You can check out my review of the Snapmaker U1 to see exactly what I mean. Speaking of the U1, the Flashforge is coming in a little bit cheaper with an early bird price of $649 if they get enough backers. But I have to reiterate, this machine just came out, and I'm not aware of anyone having reviewed it. I'm a little nervous when companies throw machines at customers before letting reviewers see them. I've had good luck with Flashforge in the past, and the 4-color ADX5 works great. But this is a whole nother ball of technological wax. Right now, I'd still have to recommend the Snapmaker U1, which I know for a fact went through beta testing with makers all over the globe because mine's a beta unit. And it's now in its final retail form. The U1 is still a bargain at $849. April Fool's Day was this week, and we got a couple of real humdingers from the 3D printing community. Canuck Creator cooked breakfast on his Voron, and he ate it. Proto-Pasta went a little too far with the serial killer vibes, and Prusa did what Prusa does best, which was launch a product, although this one was completely fake. They almost got us this time because it involved their new filament dry box, which I've actually seen it form next. I bet the film crew at Prusa had a good time when they had to break out the hose on that one. I'm going to link all of the videos down below, so if you want to go watch them, they're really a hoot, except for that Proto-Pasta one. Now, about that grass touching. Ooh, let me just get it. Most of the time, the 3D printing community hangs out online, and we all know the internet can be challenging at best. So what's better than social media? Well, being social people. So if you're going to be in the Denver area on April 18th and 19th, I hope that you join us at RMRRF, the Rocky Mountain RepRap Festival in Loveland, Colorado. This is a fantastic community event where makers from around the country gather to show off their projects and companies present their new wares. There will be talks at the maker stage, robot battles, 3D printed drag racers, and Joe Telling will host his famous quiz show where you could win some Polymaker filament just for entering, and a Positron 3D printer if you really know your stuff. My favorite event, next to the Death Racers of course, is the Polar Filament Exchange. Bring in any roll of filament that you don't need and swap it for something someone else doesn't need. It's a real trash to treasure event. The spool could be up to half used, but it does have to be on a spool, and it does need to be a normal 1.7 millimeter size. Last year, I brought in a bunch of glow-in-the-dark filament and swapped it for some boring white, which I think was a win-win for all of us. There's also a swap meet area, so if you're looking for a bargain, you just might find one. Or if you need to offload a project printer, well, now's your chance. Bondtech will be there with the index, so if you want to see that up close before putting your money down, you can do that. There's also like 9 or 10 filament companies setting up shop, and they always bring some great stuff at a good price. And I'll be over here in this corner with a fresh project. I'll have ripcord tops for the kids to play with, and we'll be demoing some larger electric tops, at least until Justin tells us to knock it off. I'm trying to get into open source with this project, so come on by and help me test it out. And one last thing about RMRRF, make sure you bring some maker chips. We love trading maker chips with everyone, so if you haven't made any, you still have time. And I'll link to the starter files down below. Wait, what are maker chips? Oh, they're the perfect little mashup between collectibles and business cards. A lot of us at the show will have hundreds of chips to give out, which you can collect scavenger hunt style. Then you can take them over to K2 Kevin and Pez Liz, and you might win a prize from their sponsor, Polymaker. And at the very least, you'll have a memento of your time at RMRRF. Now, finally, something serious.
If you live in the state of New York, on April 1st, they're finishing up the budget for the 26-27 fiscal year, and they're adding a provision in there saying they will make sure that any printer, 3D printer, not regular printer, but 3D printer, that's purchased in your state has to have a mechanism on it that will block and let them know if you're printing anything that could be considered a shape that is bad. April 14th, a very similar one is happening in California. If you care about this stuff, if you're involved in this space, you need to speak up and do something about it now, because this is really happening.
If you're a California resident, you need to join our friend David Tobin, who's traveling to Sacramento on April 14th to speak out against California Bill 2047. This is going to put strict regulations on 3D printers sold in that state to prevent them from 3D printing gun parts. While no one likes criminals with guns, restricting an ordinary tool used by millions of engineers, scientists, artists, makers, and high schoolers trying to learn STEM, it's simply ridiculous. The bill requires state-approved software controls to keep 3D printers from printing bad shapes. This is like telling your toaster it can't toast bagels. Printers just aren't that smart. They don't know what's inside them. It will also prevent people from buying and selling 3D printers without these Big Brother monitoring systems installed in the state of California, which is every printer on the planet right now. We also know that with the size of California's economy, it could influence how printers are made and sold around the world. David, as you know, is the producer for a 3D Printing Nerd channel, so he's very informed on all things 3D printing. He's going as a representative of the nonprofit Community Manufacturing Initiative, which has a mission to provide every student an opportunity to learn STEM, robotics, and 3D printing. His group is sponsored by the National Science Foundation. Go check out Don't Ban 3D Printers to see if your state is planning on outlawing your machines. Make your voice be heard. Send an email, a postcard, or call up your local representatives. Now be polite, but let them know that what they're planning will have all the wrong consequences. So that's all the news for this week. I'm STL Denise, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy printing.